Welcome back to the Advanced Selling Podcast, the longest running sales podcast history. We're entering our 19th year, and we can't wait to celebrate with you in September of 2025. I'm Bill Caskey.
Bryan Neal here.
Welcome back. If you are a new listener, go to advancedsellingpodcast.com. There is a hot 25 list of the most popular podcasts. You do not have to start at the beginning, although I know some of you like to do that, but we're 2,000 episodes in, so that's going to take you a long time. We're talking about things today that are a little bit different than we talked about 16 years ago. Our voices haven't changed. Our microphones are the same. We've gotten older, a little wiser, a little heavier.
I said this morning, I was kind of griping about something. I don't want to say what it is, but I said to my wife, I go, I'm an old man, aren't I? She started busting out laughing. I'm like, I am. I just am. I'm getting those old man traits. You sort of get complainy.
Yep.
I'm speaking for myself here. I'm fighting it off a little bit, and I'm embracing it. I'm like, you know what? This is part of what happens.
Yeah.
So I'm trying not to be that way.
Yeah, I did that the other day. I filmed a video, and it was with my phone. Yeah. And I was kind of looking down, and the lighting was not good. My hair was long, so I looked like Paul McCartney with his old grandmother. He looks like an old granny. And then I watched it back, and I was appalled. I was like, oh my God, don't ever let this go out, because I'm used to having some light and having some, looking up, having light, having a decent microphone. And it was like, so I'm with you. And I looked 100 years old. My cheeks are all sunken in. And
it just happened. It's weird, isn't it? Yeah. But we're going. Speaking of old men, I went to a bucket list concert on, was that Friday or Saturday? Saturday night. I took my youngest son's a senior in high school, took him and his girlfriend. He's a bit of an old music soul, and he is following in my footsteps playing piano. He also plays harmonica. I went to see Billy Joel and Sting.
Oh,
and it was fantastic.
Where were they?
Now, it was at Lucas Oil Stadium. Okay. So it's a stadium show, big stadium show. Sting is awesome, and he is in such good shape, man. He's like 74 or something like that. Yeah, man, he is ripped. He can sing like he could when he was 30. Yeah, really great. Just him and a guitarist and a drummer.
Was his son there?
The music, I don't know.
Okay. His son plays with him. He was a guitarist, but I don't know. He may bring him to smaller venues. We saw him at a smaller venue.
Okay. This guitarist looked older than Sting. Okay. And Sting's 74, if that tells you.
Well, his son's 58 too. So
I didn't think about that. Good point. Could be, actually, now that you're saying that. Just I don't know for sure. Billy Joel was just fantastic. He just puts on a good show. He plays all the stuff. Yeah. Hasn't lost a step, and his voice is, dropped a little bit, but he acknowledges that. I just love how he owns that. Yeah. Piano playing was fantastic. Crowd was packed. My son was like, this is so amazing that this guy is like, it's just him and a piano at the core, and there's 70,000 people there. It was crazy. It was awesome.
I'd heard, I'd seen somebody try to rank, do you like Billy Joel better than Sting? And I wasn't sure why that was, but apparently they're on tour all over the country. So Sting, we saw him in a venue of like 2,000 people up at Carmel, the Palladium.
Repping. I like it.
And that was the best concert I ever saw. Plus we were six rows back, and his voice and the crowd. I mean, it was just, I mean, I've always liked Sting, but boy, when you see him in concert, you really like him.
It's amazing, isn't it? Yeah. Just amazing. His vocal and he was just really awesome. So, and I just love being able to experience that with my kid, who just loved it too and loves all the songs. And I guess there's some, his generation, they all know a lot of Billy Joel songs. And several of his friends were there, really? On their own. They're really into the song Vienna. That I don't know why, ever buzzed up on social media. Vienna, the song is kind of an obscure Billy Joel song. Vienna waits for you. When will you realize? Yep. Kind of a B-side ish or an obscure album. Billy even called that out. He goes, "This is a single. It wasn't even meant to be a single. It's on an album none of you have." And
all of a sudden, people start liking it. So
they love it. It's funny, isn't it? Yeah. So he's going around the country. If you get a chance to see Billy Joel, he also has Stevie Nicks as a guest in some of his shows, and Rod Stewart as a guest in some of his shows, and then Sting in some. So check it out. That's my plug. Billy Joel needs the help. He really does. He needs some promotional help from the Advanced Selling Podcast. So he's going to call it out when you're there. He's going to go, show of hands. Who's here from the Advanced Selling Podcast? Quick show of hands. There's 70,000 of you here. Anyway,
30,000.
Okay. Topic today. We talked about money last time, which was a great topic. Numbers really more than money, I guess, but numbers. Today, I want to talk about a little more tactical thing, which is, and this is version 2.0. We've done this before, but there is always a time period in the sales process in between meetings that you're having with a prospect. And it struck me that as time has gone on, what we do in that interim gap has changed. And some of you do nothing. And some of you do what you used to do, which is, well, I still send them the marketing brochure. I send them some video from, 2005. But I want to talk about what's the modern version now that we're in 2025 of what to do during the sales process in between the meetings. And I want to brainstorm that idea with you, Bill, a little bit for our listeners so they can kind of examine their own, gap plan, so to speak. Gap meaning time gap.
That's a great topic.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it feels like we can lose momentum if too much time goes by where there's no connection. And we do lose momentum. And what was really exciting to them when they were on the call 6 days later, not as exciting.
Exactly.
And, you can't be calling them every day. And so I think this is a really good topic.
Yeah. You may
I have nothing.
Yeah, I'll start.
Go ahead. I'll model.
Well, this is my topic, so it's a crappy topic. I'm kidding. Here was
last week's mine.
It was yours. It's a callback for you listeners. Callback is Bill's.
We get very possessive.
We'll tell our producer Travis just to call last week's topic. Just call it Bill's topic. Don't even say what it is. It goes in the vault. This is Bill's topic. Right. It was a great topic though. This one's not so good, but still valuable.
Yeah, but we'll see. Maybe it'll turn into something.
We'll see. It's not so far. 10 minutes in. So the first thing I think that needs to be done now. Remember, this isn't like if you're running a tight process, you should have date schedule along the way. So I'm talking about things. This isn't like chasing someone down stuff. This is more like they're in process with you, but there is still a 7, 8, 10-day gap between your now meeting and your next meeting. What are you doing between there? The first thing I think that has to come into play these days that was maybe not so much in the past is customization. I think we need to really work hard as we're listening to a conversation roll out with a potential customer of hearing things that relate to some of our other engagements or our other clients and customers. And so an example of that would be I'm calling on a company that is a distributor of machines or big construction equipment or something like that. And I hear something about the distribution model. Well, the manufacturer doesn't blah, blah, blah. I hear something. I think in my mind, I go, okay, who else do I have in my client base that has a similar thing like that? So I might make a connection like we talked about that last time. I go, hey, Bill, Tom here runs a company similar to yours. I know our meeting's not till next week, but I wanted to put you two together. If you could find some time to hop on a quick call, do it. If you don't, no big deal. But he had these 3 things that you talked about, and it'd be a great resource for you to hear how we've employed the system at his place. Just that. Okay. But it's thoughtful. It's thoughtful. It's customized.
I love it. I love it. So the introduction to someone else who is similar is part of one of those strategies of filling the gap.
100%. Yep.
I like that. Here's one that I have that's I think we've talked about it before, but nobody does it. So that's okay. And that is when you have a meeting, like, I had a meeting last week and I didn't I didn't take my own advice here. And I think I will here today. But whenever you have a meeting with someone, if it's a significant, like we had an hour-long meeting, there's a lot of stuff happened, a lot of stuff went on, a lot of good comments, a lot of good questions. Create some kind of an article or a video or something. Don't mention the prospect's name in here, but you could even say, I've had some calls recently with people who have had these three questions or these 3 concerns or trends in their marketplace are as follows. And speak as directly as you can to those people, not by name, and then put it up on LinkedIn, and then send a note to your people and say, hey, I recently published this, thought you might like to see it. You're not saying to them, hey, after our meeting, I went and recorded this because it was so, no, you're not saying that. You're saying recently, I did one of these and I thought it might make sense for you to hear it. And then they watch it and they say, geez, this is good. This is exactly what we talked about.
Yes.
Now,
yes,
this has got to be a big enough deal. It can't be $100 deal. You're not going to do it. But if it's $100,000 deal or higher, or you can generate 10K from it, it's worth you spending an hour shooting a video and putting it up on YouTube. You all should have a YouTube channel by now. I'm sure you do. Or on or on LinkedIn, or on a website. I'm sure you can hatch a web page, out of nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
great.
Yeah. It feels then to them like, okay, this is, man, I wasn't sure about him when we were talking, but now he's speaking our language.
It's something different. That's the main thing too for me is like you said, Bill, we've talked about this. The vast majority of our listeners aren't doing these things. No. And to create some video or a landing page or some place to go, like a portal. There's a really, really kind of buzzy software now going on that they call them virtual sales rooms, where sort of all the sales stuff is sitting there. There's several of those out in the world. You can go look them up, but that's a buzzy thing right now. So here's another one, and you have to be thoughtful here and good intention. We talked last time about numbers to measure, new math. One of the new math things that we talked about was making introductions to people. What better thing to do, in my opinion, there's not a better thing to do than to make a potential introduction for my prospect to a customer of theirs, a potential customer. So again, I'll stay on my track of, Bill, you work for McAllister Machinery, a big outfit, which I think you used to, and you sell bulldozers. Mm-hmm. And this guy that I'm really good friends with owns a really big construction company. You probably know each other, but I don't know that you do, and I can make an introduction to you guys during my sales process because it's this extra thing that can come along when you work with us. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I don't care where it goes. I'm just making the intro, but I'm like, hey, some stuff we talked about, you two should get to know each other. And it doesn't even have to be
different than the first one. How's that different than the first one you did?
The first one would be more related to what I sell. The first one is more about, hey, we've got the sales operating system. Oh, okay. We're going to plug it into it. Okay. Yeah. Here's what that guy did. Yeah. This is strictly a potential customer.
About them.
Yes, 100%. Because the person I intro them to may not be a customer of mine. They just might be a friend of mine.
Right.
Yeah. Might be a friend. Just trying to help them out. But to show them like, hey, I'm listening and paying attention. I want to make a connection for you. That's one.
I like it.
Unsolicited.
Okay, here's another one that I had, and we're actually in the process of creating this for us, and I'm recommending my clients do this, and that is have a library on your web page somewhere or on your often remarked about YouTube channel. Have a library that contains the things that they need to know about you and the work you do that would connect you. For example, your story. Have a video there about your story, like where you grew up and how you came to this business and why you're in it and why you love it and how you serve people and help people. I want to know your story. Have another video there that talks about trends in the business or misconceptions or big picture economic regulation trends or whatever. Educate the prospect a little bit. Have another video there that talks about our process. What does it look like to work with us? And because the rule is, and I don't know if this is legit, but I've heard it so many times and I probably believe it, is that a customer needs to consume a certain amount of hours of you before they really have trust in you. And that's why I think that it used to be that you could have one call with somebody and they were like, okay, man, let's do this. Let's go.
Yeah.
But now we have become so suspicious and hesitant about putting all our faith in somebody that we don't really even know just because we're on a call with them. We don't know these people from last week. They still don't know me. We laughed and had a great time, but they don't know Bill Caskey.
Right.
And so were we to have had this library done, it's not quite done yet. And this is a digital library. I'm not talking about building an actual library. You understand that?
Physical, right?
Bill Caskey is the president of the library.
It's got so far in the vault. It's got one podcast episode.
Exactly. But you could put podcast episode.
Yeah.
Anything that would be useful for your customer to get to know you a little bit. I think that would be a great thing to send in the gap between meeting one and meeting two.
That's really great. And I'm not a big power user of this. My team makes fun of me for this. But if you're a G Drive, Google Drive kind of person, you could actually put all those assets, as they call them, in the Google Drive and just say, hey, here's some stuff to poke around. Because some people love that. More people love it than don't, right?
Yeah.
Go poke around here, some videos in there to watch, and they're named well. So it says, get to know Bill Caskey. What's it like to work with Bill? there's a video, and it's tagged Absolutely. 3 minutes, right? That's awesome. Here's a G drive with some videos and some documents you can take a look at. That's fantastic. That's great in between stuff.
Because right now, if you were to send them links to these things, they would be all over the place.
Totally.
One on your About Us page on your website, one on a YouTube channel, one for, but have your owner, if you're not the owner of your firm, have your owner shoot a video and talk about the origin of the firm, how we came to be, what's our story, what did we almost went out of business 10 years ago, and then we pivoted. Those things are invaluable for people to really connect with you at a deeper level in between those calls. Okay.
That's really good. Let's see. My last one I'll add is, so it goes along with that, but it's a little slightly different. With video, if you send video, we are just huge proponents of using software that's trackable to do that. Mm-hmm. So we use Co-Video, friend of the show. They're kind of off in the automotive space now. They've sort of sunset the rest of their side of their business. There's one called Vidyard who's really popular. A lot of sales orgs use Vidyard. But what we love about those is they're trackable. You get all the data that says if you do a video for someone, how many times it gets watched and or who it gets forwarded to. Mm-hmm. So you can follow along with that. And I know there are other trackable type softwares for things like that, whether it's email, PDF, you know what I mean? It informs you a little bit about what's going on. You do a video for someone, no one watches it. I'm like, ew. So that just adds on to the previous idea too, a little bit.
And it also tracks who they forward it to.
It does, correct. And how many times they watch it and how long they stayed on it. Yes. All the above.
That's great. I think that's Loom. I think Loom is one. I don't know if Loom's is trackable, but Vidyard.
Yeah, Bomb.
There's a lot of them. Yep. There's a lot of them. You have to be judicious with that. I think there was a time when everybody was sending those things. I was like, oh, shit. But,
calm down.
But I think if you can link that up with the thing that I just talked about, which is the library, those two things really work nice together.
Yes.
My last one here, and I want to thank you, incidentally, for this topic. It's a fantastic topic.
It's my topic.
It's right up there with mine.
We're struggling. It's okay. We're getting through it. Finding some stuff here. I'll try harder next time. Come up with better topics.
Yeah, you're gonna have to employ AI next time.
I will.
Well, maybe you did this time.
I did not.
The last one would be always have something to invite people to. Like I've got a webinar coming up on the 19th. I'm going to do one on the 19th and 26th of February. And so if this person who I talked to last week, if I reach out to them and I don't hear from them, I will probably just say, look, sounds like you're not moving forward. That's cool. We have a webinar coming up on the 19th. And that's a very low risk way for them to get a little bit more, hear a little bit more about me and what we do. And so if you always have something that's sitting out there, and I like masterclasses, virtual events, webinars, whatever, but it could be a panel discussion that you do online. There's lots of different things you can do, but have something that you can invite people to that feels like it's not just you harassing them for this in the sales process.
Yeah. That's a great idea. That's a whole other topic. I love that idea of, I call it hub selling. It's being the hub of the wheel. It's really, really good.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Okay. Good stuff. So a decent topic today. Not the best, but we'll try harder next time. So I hope you got some.
I'm going to send you a thank you card later today for this topic. It was that good.
We'll keep this one in the shoebox. We'll keep Bill's in the vault. We'll keep mine
Travis,
in the
let's not roll on this one until we have a chance to listen to
it. Anyway, if you're not in the Insider, go to the advancedsellingpodcast.com website. Join the Insider. Best bang for your buck. No questions asked. Great community. Live training from my friend Bill Caskey. And find us on LinkedIn, if you would, please. And
and if you do not get our emails, go to same site, advancedsellingpodcast.com. Just put your name and email address in, and we'll make sure you get, because we're doing some emailing of some recaps of Insider, and so we want you to get access to those.
Hop on that for sure. So, okay, that's it. See you next time. Bye.